going to show you how to make a foolproof macaron because I have been trying for years and I feel like I finally have them down and I want other people to be able to make them. This is what's known as soft peaks. They are very soft. It kind of droops over like that. We want to get to stiff peaks. So stiff peaks will not fall over that much. So we're just going to keep whipping this until we get there. I struggled with achieving stiff peaks a lot. So this is honestly one of the hardest parts in my opinion. I would say once it starts kind of pooling at the base of the whisk and you can kind of see it coming up the sides, that's when I like to see that it's basically done, not all the way done. One test that people like to do to test if your meringue is ready is that they'll like tip it to the left and right, make sure it's not moving. And then they also say that you can hold it basically like above your head. And if it doesn't come out, then it should be ready. So now that our meringue is all ready, we are gonna take our almond flour powdered sugar mixture that I sifted earlier. This is Superfine almond flour and just normal powdered sugar. So this next process is called macaronage, and it's what people find the most difficult. I find the meringue kind of difficult, but this part could make or break your macarons with just too much stirring or too less stirring. So this part is very tedious. So I'll show you the technique that I use and that I've learned just by watching a lot of videos online, and also how I tell that it's ready, because I feel like you just have to eyeball it. No one's going to have the exact amount of stirring that you need to perfect the macarons. It's all kind of like an eyeball thing. So you really have to get familiar with the look of how it's supposed to look. And so that's the part that I'm going to try to show you. Okay, so this next part is the macaronage process. I'm going to add my almond flour powdered sugar mixture in 2 installments. So I'll do half, just about half right now. And then now I'm just going to use the stirring technique that I saw online. You want to mix it very, very carefully and lightly. So the goal here is to basically deflate your meringue. You want to make sure that there's not too much air in your macarons so that they puff up and crack, and you don't overmix it too much so that it also cracks and becomes too dense and just spreads too much. So I just did the first batch here. So now I'm just going to put the second half in. The technique I like to use is just doing a couple stirs around the edges and then a couple passes through the middle. So it's basically like this. You can be a little bit more aggressive at the start just to really incorporate everything. So a good way to tell if it's getting close to being done or if it needs more stirring is just lift your spatula and see how it falls. If it's, you know, breaking like this, that means you need to mix it some more. A lot of people say it will have the consistency of lava, but I've personally never seen lava before, so I don't really like that analogy. So other people say that it looks like a ribbon when it falls, so it'll be like one stream down your spatula, and then it'll fall back into your batter within like 10 to 15 seconds. Try that again. Yes, that looks really good. Look how long that ribbon was. That looks good. Really don't want to overmix. Okay, so we have our macaron batter now. Just gonna grab a cup and a piping bag with just a round tip like this. I just like to use the cup to help me bag my macaron mixture. Okay, so I've got my bag here. I'm just gonna fill it up. That consistency is so good. It's supposed to look a little grainy, so that's perfectly fine. We also don't want it to look too glossy, but like a little glossy is fine. Like it's not supposed to look matted. So, oops, oh shoot. This much glossiness is totally okay. Oh, this looks like a good batch. Okay. I split some off the side there, so alrighty. Now I'm gonna go prep the pan real quick. So I just put parchment paper on top of my silicone baking mat because I've had problems with my macaron shell sticking to the mat. So I'm hoping this will help prevent it. So I like to go like this and then just do a quick little flick of the wrist so that it doesn't spill into the next one. Okay, so now that we have our macarons piped, we are going to try to get any air bubbles that are trapped in the batter out. And in order to do that, you just slap the bottom really hard and try to push the air bubbles up. And then we're gonna try popping them with a toothpick. So it's gonna be a little loud. You can also just bang them on the counter like that. My neighbors are not gonna be happy. Okay, I feel like we didn't have a ton of air bubbles, but the ones I do see, I'm gonna grab a toothpick and we'll start popping them. Okay, so now that our macarons are all piped and the air bubbles are out as much as I could get them out, we are gonna let them rest. As you can see right now, they're really shiny. We're going to let them rest for about 20 minutes before putting them in the oven so that they can form this like skin on top so that they'll be soft to the touch before baking. And I'll go back and check after 20 minutes and just kind of touch the tops of them and see if they're dry to the touch before putting them in the oven. And hopefully that will make sure they bake up really nice. Okay, so it's been about 20 minutes and they definitely look more matted. We are going to test now if they feel like they formed that skin on top. Yep. See, nothing comes up on. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these in for 18 minutes. I'll do 9 minutes one way and then I'll turn it around and do 9 more minutes. One way to tell if they are ready or if they need more time is if you touch the top, and if they jiggle, then that means they need more time, but it looks like these are firm in place. The little bubbles at the bottom are called feet, and it looks like these baked up really well. All right, I just got them from the oven, and it looks like they baked up really well, although they're not perfectly round, but that's okay. I will work on my piping skills. And yeah, so we are gonna let them cool for about 20 minutes on the parchment paper, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, they come out clean off the parchment paper. Okay, so they've been cooling for about 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm gonna try and pull them off the parchment paper now. Okay, that one didn't come off completely clean, but came off clean enough. These shells seem to have baked up really nicely. I'm very happy with the feet on this one. Yeah. Let's hope they all turn out this way. That one did not pull nicely. Dang it. I feel like I need to bake them longer. I think next time I'd add like 2 to 3 minutes to the baking time. Hopefully that will make sure that they come up clean. So maybe I'll do another video with a longer baking time. Hopefully up until this point, all of the information I shared was very helpful. I think this last part is just temperature and baking time. So yeah, maybe just add a couple more minutes. I'll do another video with a couple minutes longer and see if that one will make sure they come off all clean. So we are almost there. So I did some research, and it looks like my time and temperature might be a little lower than what most people do. So I think I'm just gonna throw them in the oven for a little longer, maybe like 5 more minutes on 270, and we'll see if that, you know, bakes them up a little more. I don't know if it's going to affect anything, the fact that there was a break in that baking time, but we'll see. We'll troubleshoot this. I don't even care if they're not ready at this point. I am done baking them. I've put them in for at 4-minute increments for like 5 times. I don't even know how they're not burnt yet, but okay, that looks good. Okay, so they all came out. You know, they just stuck a little bit. So next time I think I'm going to redo the time, just do a little bit more research. I think I'm gonna up the temperature. So I am happy with these. They're not exactly perfect, but we're almost there, but they look really good, and I'm gonna go ahead and fill them now. I'm going to do a lemon buttercream that I made, and I have some blackberry preserves I'm going to put on them in the middle. So well, after a lot of trial and error, finally got them right. Let's give it a try. They're not very good. Super hollow. I think they're overbaked. Try again next time.